Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're on a quest for 6 in a row versus a team that we just played about 4 days ago, the New Orleans Pelicans. Although this team might look a little bit different than when we played them the first time because Lonzo Ball is back. But we got a chance to go 4 games above 500, win 6 games in a row. And I'm looking forward to this chance, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are on the best run that they've been on since about 2014. So we got to go ahead and get this win tonight versus the New Orleans Pelicans. But today, this afternoon, in 1 hour to be exact, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to ride this game preview right up until the game time starts, especially since the game is on ESPN. We got Chop Low, we got Steph in the building with us. We're going to go ahead and talk about this game here and figure out a way to make sure that we can get a win. Because that's what we need. We need to get a win, ladies and gentlemen. Steph, good afternoon. I guess it's good afternoon, good morning. However, yes. You know, for some people, it's still morning time.
Yeah, exactly. Before I start, Sam, I know you're tired of this, but I just want to shout you out. I appreciate you for letting me on the show to begin with, and then for asking me to host a show. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it was a great first show, and I'm looking forward to watching it grow. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, me too. Listen, I think we do for one because we won 5 in a row, but I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer. I think we get this one. I'm a little concerned with Burke being out. Is he still out? I should ask.
Still out. Yes, he's still out. Yep.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned with that, but the next person is going to step up. Like you said, Lonzo Ball is back for them, so that changes the dynamic for them a little bit. But I'm hopeful. I think the Knicks they know which position, not even that they want to make the playoffs, they know what position they want to be in. I think I heard Bullock say one time. So they're focused. I think they're in playoff focus right now. So yeah, I'm excited about the game, and let's get it.
Yeah, I do think that they have a playoff focus. I think they're very focused, even during the midst of when they were losing. I thought that they were focused. They just maybe throughout games they lost some focus, or they didn't know understand how to get over those tight games. Right, but I did think they were playoff focused. I think they've been focused all season long. And big shout out to Lloyd Banks in the chat, man. Appreciate you. We gotta appreciate our legends when we have them. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Black Rob, passed away yesterday, and hate to hear it, man. Hate to hear it. So rest in peace to Black Rob. We could talk about that a little bit later at the end of the show. But I do want to at least say that right now. Just want to say that right now. But anyway, I do think that this team is focused, very focused, and they've been focused since the beginning of the season, right? They started off with a schedule that everyone was like, oh wow, like they got this crazy schedule, boom, 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 boom. Right. And I think that they were focused since then. And then again, after the All-Star break, it's the Knicks got this crazy schedule. What are they going to be able to do with this crazy schedule? And I think that helped them stay focused. Right. So in many ways, I think the schedule benefited the Knicks because it helped them to stay focused. And now we got 15 games left to the playoffs. And, they got a laser focus on the playoffs and what it is that they want to do. So, I'm confident in this team. And believe it or not, the schedule that's coming up is kind of favorable. Right? 6-game homestand, plenty of winnable games. I'm not saying that they're going to win them all, but plenty of winnable games during this stand. Josh, what's your take, just your initial take on tonight's game?
Salute everybody. Salute the chat. Salute MBK family. I think this is definitely a winnable game. Definitely a winnable game. We got to continue to play the way we've been playing. Intensity on defense, forcing those long jump shots, making it uncomfortable for the other team. And I think there's no team in the NBA that I don't think we cannot beat. And as far as the Pelicans go, I know they're getting back Lonzo Ball today, but again, as long as we can force Lonzo Ball into some tough shots, he's not really a shot off the dribble kind of guy. He's more of a catch and shoot kind of player. As long as we close out, I think we'll be fine. Just keep up the intensity. I know today is a matinee. As long as we continue to do what we've been doing, I don't see us having a problem today.
Yeah, and how have the Knicks this season? In seasons past, the Knicks have played terrible matinees. I don't think it's been like that this season. We haven't had many, right? But when they have had matinees, I think they fared well.
Well, the games against Orlando, we didn't necessarily shoot that well in the matinee games that we had against Orlando. So I think that might be a problem. But defensively, I don't think whether, we played matinee, middle of the night, early in the morning, I think we'll be fine. Right?
Yeah,
right.
Defensively.
But we didn't look sluggish, though.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Didn't look sluggish because that's been a problem, especially when we would play like San Antonio or something like that, on a 12 o'clock game on a Sunday, we would look terrible. Right, just looked like we didn't want to be there. I don't think you're ever going to see that with this team. I guess maybe one or two games we've seen them come out and look, I don't want to say disinterested, but maybe a little bit sluggish, especially during the end of the first half of the season when they seemed to be tired. When they had hit so many, they were on the road and they had all these back-to-backs and 4 games and 6 nights and stuff like that. They looked a little bit like, whoa, I'm a little bit worn down. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 sluggish games during that stretch, but of course they bounced back, and here we are playing against the New Orleans Pelicans. Josh brought it up. Lonzo Ball is playing today. Steph, any concerns about Lonzo Ball, and how do you think it changes the game?
I think it gives them. I'm not sure what's going on with my light. Guys,
it's all right.
I'll tell you. I think it gives them another shooter. It gives them another ball handler, even though Zion is handling the ball a lot. Ingram handles a lot. Zion is basically handling the ball the most. Now, I don't know if I haven't watched him a lot. I don't know if that's just because Ball was out, but from what I've been reading, he's been handling the ball a lot. So I think it gives them another ball handler. It gives them another shooter. But like Josh said, it's really about us. As long as we locked in, it doesn't. You can only play 5 of them at a time, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter really who they have. Only 5 is going to be on the court. And as long as our defensive rotations is good, as long as we're locked in, as long as we're hitting our shots, like Josh said, and I agree, we could beat anybody. And I think even though it's hard to beat a team twice in a row, not row, but, pretty close together, this team is so locked in, I think they'll do it.
Yeah, very locked in.
Yeah.
I do. Well, quickly, let me go over the injury report for the Knicks. Very simple. Alec Burks is out due to COVID-19 protocols, and we'll find out how long that's going to be. And then, of course, Mitchell Robinson is out with a foot injury. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Jackson Hayes with a back issue is probable for today's game. Then, of course, Nickeil Alexander and Josh Hart are both out, for a few weeks. They're both out for a few weeks. So both teams, for the most part, are going to be at good strength today with their primary players. Looking at the lineups for today, these are projected starting lineups. I have Elfrid Payton defending Lonzo Ball, which, Lonzo Ball, that should be an okay matchup for Elfrid Payton as far as, playing defense. You got Reggie Bullock and Eric Bledsoe. And who knows, maybe Tom Thibodeau decides to go with Reggie Bullock on Lonzo Ball and Elfrid Payton on Eric Bledsoe. Then that really might be the case, right? Because Reggie Bullock is 6'6", Lonzo Ball is, about 6'6" as well, somewhere around there. And then Elfrid Payton and Eric Bledsoe, neither one of those guys can shoot the basketball, so they might as well guard one another. right? You know, so you might see, you're probably, it's a good chance you'll see Reggie Bullock guarding Lonzo Ball, Elfrid Payton guarding Eric Bledsoe. Then you got R.J. Barrett and Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle and Zion Williamson, Nerlens Noel, and Steven Adams. And, of course, the big matchup is Julius Randle and Zion Williamson. Josh, I'm going to come back to you. I want to know, what did you think about the first matchup? Randle, I think, scored 34 points or whatever it was, 32, 34 points, whichever one it was. What do you think about the first matchup, and how do you think they match up today?
Straight up bully ball. These guys are big, like just big, bruising power forwards who can put the ball on the ground and shoot. So I think it'll be a tremendous matchup, just like it was in the first game. I don't expect New Orleans to lean on Zion as much now that they have Lonzo back. But Zion, is just a beast, just a beast all around the boards and just, with the basketball in his hands, he can definitely, get his off. So I think it'll be a tremendous matchup on both sides. And I'm looking to see how Julius Randle comes out. Hopefully he doesn't come out lethargic like we've seen him in the past. And I think, with Tim, it depends on Randle. We go as Randle goes. So,
yeah. And, it's kind of good that they seen him a couple of days ago and they won. And then now, they get a chance to say, okay, we know what they like to do with Zion. And, of course, this goes the same way with the Pelicans, right? But the Knicks know what they like to do with Zion. It's the first time maybe it's the first time that Julius Randle played against Zion, right? This might be the first time that he's played against Zion when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because I think the last time the Knicks played the Pelicans, I don't think Zion played because
he was hurt.
He was hurt because the last game was the first time that RJ went up against Zion, played against Zion in the same game. Right. So now he's kind of seen him, understands his speed and his strength a little bit, and now you can adjust, right? The first time you see a player, it's kind of like, okay, people talk about how strong he is and how fast he is and all of this stuff, but you really don't know until you get out there and play against that person, and you can feel the strength, you feel the speed. Well, he had a chance to do that a couple of days ago, so he should understand it and know what to expect from him now. So that's one thing that goes in his favor. And same thing for Zion, right? Zion with Julius Randle will, kind of know what to expect from him and those things, although Zion Williamson isn't a great defender. So I would like to see Julius Randle. I don't want to see him just come out and chuck the basketball. But I'm pretty sure he knows, Zion's not a great defender. I can blow past this guy. I'd like to see Julius Randle go out there and try to lay it into him for real. As far as this matchup, see if he's still got the touch from that Dallas game, and go out there and just put it on Zion and make Zion have to work on the defensive end. Because Zion's not a great defender. I do think if you get Julius Randle and Zion Williamson out in space, I think Julius Randle can go by him every time for real. Which Zion can do the same thing with Julius Randle probably too, because he's got a very quick first step and a lot of burst of speed. I expect the Knicks to play Zion similar to what they did last game, which was kind of pack line defense. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more when I look at my keys to the game. But Steph, what's your take on the first matchup between Zion and Randle, and what do you expect from today?
Yeah. I'm getting older, Sim, so I can't tell you that I remember the first matchup, but I can talk about.
Well, the previous game was the first time they matched up against each other.
Yeah, I know.
Last season, Zion was hurt. Yeah, Zion was hurt.
Right. Listen, Randle is going to make it tough on Zion. I don't think he could defend Randle at all. But Randle has to make it tough for him. Don't make it easy. Like shooting jump shots unnecessarily, makes it easy for Zion, right? Make him, take it in, go into the key, try to get foul shots. Yes, shoot the jump shot. Zion is kind of small. strong, but Randall's game is not one. He kind of shoots the fadeaway, so he'll be able to get that over Zion in the post as well. But I think he needs to make him work. I don't think he needs. When I was watching the Laker game, he was just. He was making them, but basically he wasn't playing within the flow of the offense. He was just, putting up shots. And I think that makes it easy for the defender. I think you want to pass it, move around, make him chase you, run around, make him guard you when you do have the ball, make it hard for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Because when you have, when the game, you can make another defense a good defense if you stop moving the ball, moving the man, and, it's one pass, one shot, or just too much ISO ball. You can make a bad defense a good defense by doing that. And this isn't that good of a defense. I think they're 27th to 28th in the league. And I think we got to take advantage of that by, keeping that ball moving and really playing within the flow of the offense. I do think that we've got to watch out. They got another shooter on the floor, like you said. And if they are using Zion Williamson the way that they did last game, we got to look out for, that kick out where Lonzo Ball can knock down that three, because he is shooting about 38 to 40% from the 3-point line this season. So I think we really got to watch. We got to watch that. And then, of course, Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram played a good game last game. He's going to continue to play. He's just a ball player. He's just a hooper, straight up. He can just hoop. He's good. He's crafty with the basketball. He can get to his spots. He can get up a shot at any time. When it comes to their offense breaking down and you need someone to then go get a shot, Brandon Ingram is one of the two guys that can just go get you a shot. Probably better than Zion because he's, a little bit more fluid in his offensive game. It's not just kind of, I'm going to bully you to the basket. He can shake, he can bake, he can pull it up, he can do a whole bunch of things. So, of course, he's a guy that you really got to watch out for on the floor and not let him light it up. RJ Barrett's, again, got his work cut out for him. He did a decent job on Brandon Ingram in the first game, although Brandon Ingram did have like 28. It doesn't mean RJ didn't do a decent job. He's going to have to come out and do the same thing today. My keys to the game, one, I think the Knicks got to match their intensity level, right? Because I think that they're going to be a team that wants to come out and get a win since they just lost to us 2 games ago, and I think they're on a 2-game losing streak, right? So I think they're going to want to come out and get a win. They're still fighting for that 10th seed in the Western Conference. So we've got to match their intensity level. And right now, we're at a point we've won 5 in a row. We're at home. It could be easy for them to let the guard down. And they can't. Right? So it's going to take some mental toughness for them not to let the guard down and come out and match their intensity level. We don't want them to get out to a 10-point lead early. And if they do get out to a 10-point lead early, I think it's going to be because we didn't match their intensity level. Team rebounding. The last game, we lost the rebounding battle 48-47. So we rebounded well. We've got to continue to rebound today. We've got to get offensive rebounds, in my opinion, against this team, especially with Lonzo Ball out there. Right? I think Lonzo Ball is the kind of guy that pushes the ball up on the break, not by dribbling, but by passing. He looks ahead. He's looking to get the ball up and get these guys out on the open floor. We don't want Lonzo Ball and Zion to start making a nice connection this game. Right? We don't want that. We don't want them to get something going and he's throwing oops to Zion and electrifying the team. All right, so we got to grab some offensive rebounds, make them have to take the ball out of bounds and dribble it up. I think that right there is going to be a big key to this game. If they're grabbing defensive rebounds and we're struggling to grab offensive rebounds, they'll be out on the break. We got to keep turnovers low. And again, this has to do with being out on the fast break. If we take care of the basketball, we can mitigate their chances or their ability or their opportunities to run on the fast break. Right? And if we do turn the ball over, we better make sure we're getting back on defense and have good transition defense. Last game, I think we had 5 or 6 turnovers the entire game against the Dallas Mavericks. We've got to replicate that today. Take care of the basketball. Ball movement versus a weak defense. Right? We don't want to make their defense better than it is. So we got to keep the ball and man movement. We got to keep the offense fluid. Make their defense have to work. If we keep the offense fluid, their defense is probably going to break down at some point and we get an easy bucket. But if we force up shots, one pass, one shot, or one guy dribbling, and sometimes you're going to have our guards put pressure on the rim, put pressure on the defense, when they see a lane and they take it coast to coast. I'm okay with that, but it can't happen every time because sooner or later it's going to they're going to realize it. They're going to get back. They're going to stop it. And then you got to get into a set or whatever you get into. If we start off the game with good ball and man movement, we can break down the defense and probably get some easy buckets. Then I think we got to keep that pack line defense. If you noticed in the first game when Zion had the ball, almost everybody had a foot near the paint. Right? Because they didn't want this guy to be able to, just boom, shred down your defense. Right now, the scary thing about the pack line defense is that you got guys open around the perimeter. Right? Because you're guarding his paint so tight. So you got to be ready, if Zion is on the left side of the floor, let's say, guys on the right side of the floor, they only need to be 1 or 2 steps away from their defender. They don't need to be all the way into the paint. 1 or 2 steps away from the defender. That way, when the ball swings, boom, boom, they got 1 or 2 steps to get back to the person that they're defending. Right? And with this pack line defense, you got to move on the flight of the basketball. You can't wait until the ball is halfway to the receiver to start moving, or you can't wait until the receiver catches the ball to start moving. As soon as you see that ball let go, you got to start to rotate to the spot you need to be. And that's for all defense, not just pack line defense, but that's for all types of defense, whether you're playing the zone, you're playing a good man with off-ball coverage. You got to be able to rotate on the flight of the basketball. It's important. You hear Tom Thibodeau talk about it frequently. All right, so we get into that pack line defense, try to cut off those driving lanes and cutting lanes. And then let's make Lonzo score. Right? Lonzo Ball really doesn't want to score that much. He's not going to look to put pressure on you by scoring the basketball. He's going to look to get everybody else involved. That includes Zion, but it really does include those other parts, those other players, getting those guys involved. Right? Because Zion can go get his. Brandon Ingram can go get his. But the Steven Adams and those guys, right? Zion will get Lonzo will get those guys involved, through his creativity and his passing and his ability to see the floor. You know what I mean? So I think we've really got to, I don't know how you do it, to be honest with you. If you play up tight, maybe you try to force him to penetrate. But see, if you play up tight, then they're going to send a screen. He's going to come over the screen, and he's probably going to get loose and try to, try to find somebody. But if we got guys playing the passing lanes, when Lonzo has the ball, you play those passing lanes, you play up tight on Lonzo, especially if you're one pass away from the ball, you got to be up denying so he can't get that pass off. Guys that are a couple passes away from the ball when Lonzo has it, you got your eye on the ball, you got your eye on Lonzo, you got your eye on your man. Good position so that your man can't cut behind you. And if he cuts in front of you, you can jump up and jam the cut. All right, you do those type of things, you can force Lonzo to say, okay, now I got to do something because there's no passing lanes. Much easier said than done. But I think you got to make Lonzo a scorer instead of a passer. You know, and we'll see how they go about defending it. I'm going to get to Josh. What do you think about those keys to the game, and what do you want to add to those keys to the game?
The biggest one for me is the rebounding battle. And I know you said that Jackson Hayes is, I think he's questionable or doubtful, whatever the case may be. That's big. If they don't have Jackson Hayes there, they're already a good rebounding. They're already a pretty good rebounding team as it is with Jackson Hayes and Steven Adams and Zion, and even Nickeil Alexander had 7 rebounds the last game. So without Jackson Hayes, I think we definitely can take advantage of rebounding and off the glass. We finish off our defensive possessions with rebounds. So I think that's very important. And like you said, as far as, the fast break, preventing that fast break, a way able to get some offensive rebounds and put it back up, I think that'll definitely help us out. Also, as far as Lonzo Ball is concerned, I'm really just not really that concerned about Lonzo Ball. I mean, I know as a catch and shoot guy, he's definitely a threat, but off the dribble, he's not going to stop and pop you. He's not going to, make anything happen off the dribble. So as far as how we defend him, I would say just continue to do what we do normally, but I would try to trap him. I would try to trap him and get that ball out of his hands and force him to make some tough decisions. Off that pick and roll, they're going to try to run with him and Zion. I would trap him into one of those corners and then see if we can force some turnovers and get that ball out of his hands. That's the way I would defend him.
Yeah, okay. And now the thing is, and I agree with you. I don't know if you – I'm not sure. How early would you show that hand, trapping him? How early would you show that hand?
As early as possible. I would try to get that ball out of his hands early to try to, stop their continuity, force some turnovers early, let them see how intense this defense can really be. I would do it early in the game from start to finish.
Because
I would wait a little.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Steph. Do you think that, if you start to show it too early, now they adjust to it and then it becomes ineffective because they figured out, okay, they're sending this trap, so now we're going to get the ball to the middle of the floor. Steven Adams, you turn around and look for 2 cutters coming from the corners, boom, because they should be open because now they got guys trapping up top, or something like that. What do you think, Steph?
Yes, I think that'll give them an opportunity to make the adjustment, especially at halftime. But 2, I want to see Lonzo first. See how he's playing. See, maybe we're doing okay just playing our base defense against him. And maybe we won't need to make that type of adjustment. So I would want to see that first. Then if he becomes a problem, then we can move to trapping.
Yeah. And when we talk about those trapping, because we talk frequently, we've seen that trap be successful, right? When the Knicks go to it in the fourth quarter or something like that. I would like to see, and it's probably not going to happen this season. So maybe it's next season, right? I think they wanted to, they want to get their base down and really get their structure down and all of their concepts together defensively. Then maybe next year we see some other types of traps so that you can trap earlier in the game, right? So, you might have 2 or 3 different types of traps that you can use that'll surprise your the team that you're playing defense against, right? Maybe you have some type of a 1-2-2 3/4 court trap that you go to early in the game or something like that, and then towards the end of the game, maybe you go towards something a little bit different, right? That you can sprinkle in throughout the game so that you can. Because I would like to see them utilize more traps earlier in the game to try to, confuse the team a little bit and make them, a little bit nervous or wondering, hey, what's happening? What's going on? But I understand you got to get your base defense in first. Get guys used to each other, knowing how to rotate and move and those type of things. And then you can, the next season you can add a little bit more. Because I do think we have the players that can execute those things.
I agree, Sam. I'm wondering if it's just Tibbs. I mean, if you notice, we don't really do, different things. Like you look at Miami and the different things they'll do depending on the team. We pretty much defensively, I don't see much changes. So I think other teams, it's easy for them to game plan against us. Sometimes I remember we played Portland, we trapped game a little bit when he came over half court, but we don't really do a lot of adjustments.
We don't. We kind of play our defense and live or die by it. We don't, we haven't. The last game, Clyde said it looks like they're playing some zone, but they really weren't playing zone. They were just playing the passing lanes. I think, maybe it wasn't last game. Maybe it was against the Pelicans. He's like, he said, it looks like they're playing a zone against Zion, but they really weren't playing a zone. They were just kind of, everybody was sagging in to make sure that they cut off Zion's passing lanes or driving lanes. So he'd have to pass the ball and get it out of his hands. But I would like to see the Knicks just add some variations on the defense every once in a while. And I know Tom Thibodeau's old school. He's probably, he's probably in the locker room like, I hate zone and stuff like that. Because, for a long time in the NBA, they never played zone.
Right.
They never played zone. It's part of the rule changes. If you remember back in the day, they used to have illegal defense. Right? So illegal defense was when you had one guy who he really wasn't playing defense on anybody. Right? He was kind of floating around, maybe somewhere in the paint under the basket. Not really playing defense, they would call it illegal defense. Right now, you see guys are allowed to kind of hang under the paint, waiting to trap, and then go and make a surprise trap and let their guy float wherever. You're allowed to do that because now you're allowed to play zone. Right? So with a zone, you can't have illegal defense if you're allowed to play a 2-3 zone or 3-2 zone. You can't have an illegal defense. So now they got the defense of 3 seconds where you can't be in the paint for more than 3 seconds. Which is a little bit weird sometimes because if you're playing, say you're playing a 2-3 zone, a lot of times you have, if you're in high school ball, you have your big man right in the middle of the paint, rotating from box to box. From box to box, and then, kind of in a triangle, box to box, and then like right in the center of the paint where the dotted lines go down, kind of around in that area, or maybe even a little bit higher, or even to the foul line if that's what you choose to do, how you choose to play it. So it's kind of weird, in the NBA, like you can't have your big man float around in the paint that way, which maybe is a good thing because the defenses could be suffocating with the way big men are in the NBA and can block shots. That guy could just hang out there in the paint and wait for someone to try to get to the basket. That, that could be pretty much shut down a lot of stuff. The Knicks have been, the past few games, kind of dominant in the fourth quarter. I don't know if I want to say dominant because the actual scores of the fourth quarter seem to tighten up a little bit. But the past few games, the Knicks have been able to build a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter and kind of go away with it. I mean, if you think about it, the last 3 games in the fourth quarters, there's been no stressing from Knicks fans. No stressing from Knicks fans. Probably a lot of happy family members out there right now because they don't have to hear, whoever it is screaming, hollering, cursing, because the Knicks turned the ball over.
Right. And sorry. Sir.
No, go ahead, Steph.
Not just that. Sometimes the Knicks have problems executing down the stretch in close games. We've gotten better the past few games, but if we can take care of it early and not even be in that situation and the game is pretty much over, when we get to 3 and 4 minutes left in the game, yes, it does save our blood pressure, but we're more, apt to win the game, right? When we get down to crunch time and it's really close, now we got to worry about is Randall going to take a bad shot? Are we going to turn the ball over? Who's going to hit the shot for us? Burke is out. So if we avoid that situation, it's better for us. Right.
Now we've still had, we've still had the problem of building a lead like versus Dallas. We built a 12 point lead, 13-point lead, whatever it was. Then we let it dwindle. We let them take the lead. Fourth quarter, we were able to step it up. Now, look, I understand if you build a 12, 13-point lead early in the game, most likely that team is going to chip away. Right? You're not going to keep it. Most games, you're not going to keep that 12, 13-point lead. The team is going to turn it up defensively. They're going to play a little harder. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to feel a little bit more desperate. You might have a tendency to relax a little bit. It's just human nature. That's your body. You got to fight against it, but it's just human nature that it's going to happen that way. And so, teams start to come back a little bit. I would like to see the Knicks, when they build a 12, 13-point lead, when they see that thing get down to 7, 8 points, they're like, oh, wait a minute, we got to get this back up to double digits, right? And find a way to turn it back up and feel desperate, right? Because too many times it gets to 8 and maybe it's there for a couple possessions. Then all of a sudden it's 6. And it's there for a few possessions.
One cuts it down to 3.
Exactly. Yeah. Or a big 3 or, a loose ball that is all over the place, a broken play, and then they get a 3 out of it, something. I'd like to see them, just hold that lead and not let it shrivel away. Another area, and Steph, I want to, just have a discussion about it. I don't know if you've seen it still too, because you talk about it a lot, hitting those timely shots. And even during this win streak, there have been times where I felt the Knicks could go up 14 on this bucket right here, a wide open 3, and Julius Randle misses a wide open 3. So instead of it being 14, they come down and hit a 3, and it's an 8-point game.
Right.
When you almost have a chance to put them out.
Yeah. I don't really like Rand. Well, we're getting a little better at it because there have been some shots where I said, if we could just get this one and we'll hit it. So we're getting a little better at it, but we're not quite there. We need that sniper. Somebody where more often than not, if we're in a situation to extend the lead or to come back and the ball gets into that person's hands, everybody is like, oh, man. You know? And if he misses it, everybody is surprised.
Exactly.
Right? That's what we need. But I think we've gotten better in the timely shots. We definitely have gotten better, but we still need a sniper.
Yeah, exactly. We still do. And we've definitely gotten better because now what I'm complaining about is that we're not putting the game out of reach. Right. Before it was like we're not hitting these shots to tie the game or to cut it from 6-3. Now it's like, we're not putting the game out of reach. And I think against Dallas, we had a couple chances to hit some big shots that would have put the game, kind of out of reach, but it kept them within 8. Instead of it being 11 or 12, it kept them within 8. It was an 8-point game. You hit a 3, it's a 5-point game. That's 2 possessions. And you can get 2 possessions in 20 seconds, easy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those timely shots that put teams away, but you can see the growth almost game by game with this team. So all of these things will come in to fruition.
I think that part of it about closing teams, I think that's more of a personnel issue. But the fact that the Knicks are able to get up in the first place and to come out to 10, 18-point leads or whatever the case may be, that says a lot about who's on this team right now. As far as closing them out, I think that's more of a personnel issue or lack thereof, that we don't have someone out there to just, be a killer. We ain't got that on the team yet. And RJ is developing into that. He's, slowly but surely developing into that person where you give him the ball, he can go out and get you a bucket. But we're just not there yet. But we're working towards it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and he's becoming that from 3 a little bit too, because when RJ releases a 3 now, I'm like, that's going in. You know what I'm saying? Right. I sit back, I'm like, boom, because they all look good when he lets it go. It very rarely looks like it's going to be off or flat or anything like that. It's kind of the opposite of Elfrid. When Elfrid Payton pulls a 3, you're like, oh, better get back on D. And if it goes in, you're like, oh, shoot, Elfrid made a D. He knocked that joint down, But with RJ, it's becoming almost automatic, which is good. And he can still create off the dribble a little bit. And what I've been seeing from him a lot that I like is when he finds a mismatch, he'll back up, create some space, and then he'll go full steam ahead at that person. Right? And a lot of times he's getting a rebound. So I think he's learning how to utilize his speed, turn his speed on and off, right? That change of direction, change of speed type of thing. I think he's learning how to do that because I see it a few times a game where he'll back up and then he'll get a burst of speed, to the basket, and he normally scores off of it. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I'm his development, I mean, I didn't have any doubts, but just to see it come as soon as it's coming, and to see the potential. This is somebody, he's scoring on all three levels.
Yeah.
You know, the three, the mid range, taking it to the basket,
getting to the free throw line.
Getting to the free throw line, right? Yeah. He has to improve on it. He has to be at least equally or almost equally as effective on both the left and the right side, and that's something for him to build on. But the buckets he's given us, the times that he's given us these buckets, that his strength, that and one against Porzingis, you know, he was 7-3 and he still was able to get it up over him. I don't remember if he was called for a foul and if Porzingis fouled him or not. He did, whether it was called or not. But yeah, I'm just liking what I'm seeing with him. And he also, if you notice him, he's expressionless anyway, but he just seems even more locked in during this I call it a playoff stretch right now. He's just really, really locked in. I like what I see.
Yeah, no doubt. Big shout out to Chris Woolard. Thank you for the super chat. He said, "Let's go Knicks."
That's Chris from the show.
Oh, that's Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on, Chris? Thank you for the super chat. She said, "What's up, family? Hashtag the QC. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Can't wait till next week." Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the injury report for the Knicks, Alec Burks is out due to COVID-19 protocols. Of course, Mitchell Robinson underwent foot surgery a couple weeks ago, so he's out for the remainder of the season. For the Pelicans, Jackson Hayes, he's probable for today. He's having a back issue. He's probable, so we'll watch that. Nickeil Alexander and Josh Hart are both out for a couple of weeks, so they will not play tonight or today.
That's big.
Yep, that's big. They were out in the previous game as well, but that's definitely big. As far as the lineups are concerned, you got Elfrid Payton and Lonzo Ball for the respective teams at point guard spot. Reggie Bullock and Eric Bledsoe at the shooting guard spots. R.J. Barrett and Brandon Ingram at the small forward spots. Julius Randle and Zion Williamson, your key matchup at the power forward spots. And then Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams at the center spots. I do think that Elfrid Payton will guard Eric Bledsoe and Reggie Bullock will guard Lonzo Ball. I think that's probably the best way to go. One, with the height differential, and two, the style of players that they are. I think Reggie Bullock can, I think he can. I think he can do a good job on Lonzo Ball. As a matter of fact, he's played against tougher, offenders. You know what I mean? So that's the matchup that I would look at for today. We'll see where Tom Thibodeau decides to go with it. As far as the keys to the game, I think the Knicks got to match the Pelicans' intensity level. The Knicks beat them a couple games ago. The Pelicans are on a 2-game losing streak. They're fighting for the 10th spot in the Western Conference. So I think they will come out intense. When teams play in the Garden, they want to come out intense, right? So the Knicks got to continue to defend home court by coming out and matching that intensity level. The Knicks are on a 5-game winning streak. They're playing well. Everyone is lauding them. It's easy for them to let their guard down. They got to fight against it. They got to fight against human nature and not let their guard down and come down intense. Team rebounding. I think they got to continue to rebound as a team. Guards, R.J. Barrett, Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, Derrick Rose. These guys got to come back and help rebound the basketball. All right, especially with Mitch out and now Alec Burks is out. He sometimes helps us on the boards. Every once in a while, they got to come back and our guards need to get on the boards. We need offensive rebounding. We don't want to let these guys get defensive rebounds, get it off the glass, and go. So as many offensive rebounds we can get, it'll help slow them down, make them have to take the ball out of bounds. All right? We want to keep the turnovers low. We don't want them running up the floor. All right? Lonzo Ball likes to look ahead, push the ball up the floor, find guys running lanes, and beat the defense up the floor. So we keep those turnovers low. Against Dallas, we had 5 or 6 turnovers. We got to do the same thing today. All right, ball/man movement versus a weak defense. The defense isn't that good. If we move the ball, something is going to open up. If we come down 1 pass, 1 shot, or just every other possession coming down and just dribbling to the basket, then, we're going to allow their weak defense to become a strong defense, or it's going to look like a strong defense because we're not moving the basketball. If we move the basketball, make them move, they'll have a defensive breakdown. Pack line defense against Zion. Right? Everybody should be, if Zion's got the ball on one side of the floor, the opposite side defenders need to be 1 or 2 steps off their man, with an eye on Zion and an eye on their man, so that they know if their man relocates. And as soon as the ball is passed, on the flight of the ball, you got to start rotating back to your man. All right, to make sure we close out on those open shooters and make Lonzo a scorer. Right, play up tight against them. Off-ball defenders, play the passing lanes. Right, again, keep an eye on Zoe, keep an eye on your man. If your man cuts to the basket, jam the cutter. Don't let him just walk in front of you. Right. Keep a hand out there so you can feel that guy. All right, cut those passing lanes off, those cutting lanes off. Make Lonzo have to score the basketball. We do those things, I think we'll put ourselves in a position to win tonight easy. When we look at the breakdown of these two teams for the season, the the New Orleans Pelicans, they can score the basketball, ladies and gentlemen. This is a team that, and we've seen it in the first game. If you let them get loose, they'll score. We don't want that. All right, we want to keep them playing at our pace. We don't want to let them. We don't want to let them get out there and start running and having fun. They average 114 points per game. We average 105, just almost 106. Right, so we're starting to inch up there. We've been scoring like 111. Yeah, it's been going up. Starting to inch up there. They average 47 rebounds a game. We average about 46. They average about 26 assists. We average 21. We're both around 7 steals per game. We're at 5 blocks. They're at 4.4. They really don't have a rim protector out there, to be honest with you. They average about 13.7 turnovers. We average 12.6 turnovers. They shoot 48% from the field. We shoot 45%. They shoot 35% from 3. We shoot 38%. They shoot 73% from the free throw line. We shoot 77%. They score about 54 points in the paint. We score 45. Now, look, against Dallas, we gave up a lot of points in the paint. Actually, against New Orleans, we gave up a lot of points in the paint. We can't do that. We can't replicate that. All right, we gotta defend the paint and defend the 3-point line. And I know it's much easier said than done. And a lot of times we're going to be pick your poison. All right, but we gotta try as hard as we can to defend both. The Hornets, they score 15 second chance points per game. We score 13. They average about 14 fast break points. We average close to 9, so that's inching up as well. The leading scorer is Zion, of course. And for us, Julius Randle, he leads us in points, rebounds, and assists. Steven Adams leads them in rebounds. Lonzo Ball leads them in assists. And Zion leads them in block with, under 1 block per game. And Nerlens Noel, he's just been playing magnificent basketball with the way that he's blocking shots. Just magnificent basketball. That block that he had in the fourth quarter against the Mavs was just crazy.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time block.
Yeah. And he didn't play the last game, so that's going to be a boost for us.
Exactly.
The last time we played New Orleans.
That's right. I forgot all about that. He didn't play the last game.
Somebody mentioned it in the chat.
So that definitely makes a difference. Makes a big difference in the way that teams, think about coming to the lane and scoring. So maybe we can turn away some of those paint points, because they definitely scored in the paint the last game. Yeah, that's right. Because we saw a little bit of Pell the last time we played them.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. I never got a chance to hear from Chop today. I didn't. I know he sent the message saying that he was, he was doing a couple things. I guess Chop is out. Okay, so I guess we're not gonna hear from Chop. But maybe we are gonna hear from Chop. Chop, let me see if Chop is available. Chop, you there? What's going on, man?
Yo, my bad. I just came in the crib. Remember, I'm doing my errands and all that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know if we got to hear from you. Who was going to get to hear from you?
I'm in the whip, and I got to do the drop-offs, and I just came back. I'm rushing to get back in the crib for the game, bro.
I hear you.
I got to sanitize everything, man. I'll be out all night.
I hear you, man. I just didn't know. Well, just give us real quick. What's your thoughts on tonight's game?
This afternoon's game, listen, I'm not going to lie to you.
This afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. And Josh, Steph, God bless you guys. You know, I love y'all to chat. Salute everybody up in there. I saw G-Man was in there. I see Chef Zay. Salute everybody in there. Ghetto Intellect, the chat. Listen, man. Julius Randle, I want to see a triple-double tonight. This afternoon. I want to see the team step up. And we've been elevating every game thus far, right? Like an elevator, every step of the way. And I don't know. I think y'all was saying that. I was hearing it. Van Gundy don't make too much adjustments, or I don't know. So I want to see the adjustments made today. I want to see Julius Randle go off. He scored 44. Maybe he could get 50. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to. But I think we're gonna win today's game. Maybe let's keep him under 100.
Woo. Yeah, that's a tough order against this team. That's a tough order. That's a tough order against this team because they can score the basketball in bunches. You know what I mean?
And then y'all was saying, because I was listening, but and I'm doing things. Lonzo Ball is back, right? And I think I was hearing you saying, True say that Zion is running the point, whatever, but Lonzo is more fluid of getting other players open as well, as far as the passing game.
Right.
And I think Josh Hart is back too. He's somebody we can't sleep on either.
No, I think Josh Hart.
Is he?
No, he's out. He's still out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got a torn UCL in his thumb.
Oh.
In his thumb. I don't know exactly what that is, but a torn UCL in his thumb. He'll be re-examined in a couple of weeks, I guess. So. Well, hey, the game is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Any last words, Josh? I'll start with you, and we'll get over to the game.
The Knicks are playing on ESPN, y'all, so tune in.
Steph?
Yeah, ESPN's been showing us some love lately. On Twitter, they was getting on Richardson. I fell asleep, so I watched the game yesterday. I didn't hear it. I thought they were good, toward the Knicks. So anyway, it doesn't matter.
They just hating, Steph. They just hating. That's all.
Right.
No matter what, right, Josh? They always hate.
Right. We got to get this game today. We got Boston. I woke up. Boston beat the Warriors.
Great game last night.
So yeah, we got to get this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Chop, some last words before we get to the game.
Like I said, listen, man. Salute to the chat. Everybody that checked in on the show. Josh, salute. Auntie Steph. That's a trophy from high school. College?
College, yeah.
Let's go. You see that trophy in the background? Come on, let's get one today, baby.
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let you get to the game. We appreciate you all. All right, and we'll see you after the game. I don't know.
Yep.
About 4:45 or something like that. We'll see you after the game. Appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. We're up out of here. Be peaceful. Spread love.